could even do what is required or asked of me. But I was in a deep space of yearning and wanting to know what Devi's words are for me, what her advice is, and what her guidance was. And just being in a deeply open space is so important. And when you're in that space, it's a beautiful thing that happens. I actually, after Swamiji had spoken to me, I recorded I went back on the YouTube video and I cut the clip and I recorded it. And I literally just listened to it again today. Just having him like over here and then gazing over and just saying Vridananda and then like just speaking his message to me. In that moment, I had a different experience than I did in 2014 with Kalabhairava. I understood that, you know, this was really important. And it was a soul-to-soul connection that he was delivering to me, this message. And it was delivered to me in such a gentle way, but at the same time, with a force that was necessary for me to wake up and to really understand the importance of what he was saying. And just goes to show the connection that the Tamil language can give you, like you can really understand, and the beauty of these Akashic readings and how it's exactly what you need to hear and how you need to hear it. It's not just what you're being told, but how he or she is speaking to you. And, you know, I can only say again, it's just such a blessing to have the opportunity to ask a question and then to receive the answer.
Wonderful. Actually, this is such a beautiful sharing that you're sharing with everyone. And many times, I just want to take one important point that you shared, right? So one thing that you shared about is not taking it for granted. But second, most importantly, being open to receive anything that she's sharing. Most of the time, we all have a certain idea, a certain answer, and we like ask the question, and we are like, Devi should bless only this. And we sit with the expectation that Devi should only answer this. And it's literally like we forcing our expectation and our logic that this is what has to be answered. And that is actually one of the biggest, I can say, delusions that we are stuck in. Many times we want so many wishes, there are so many boons that we want in life, but not that everything gets answered. And there's a higher intelligence, Paramashiva, Parashakti know what is the best that has to happen to you. So the moment we drop the expectations that we have, telling that Devi has to answer it, Devi has to answer, this is the answer that I should get. As long as you have any of those expectations in you, you will see that it's only going to bring you more and more suffering. Whether it is answered or not, even if the question is answered, you will still feel incomplete because you're like, I expected something else and something else happened. So as you were sharing very beautifully and very rightly, it is that space of openness that we carry. And that is what actually brings the real change in our life. Most of the people, the moment we think of a miracle, it is like, oh, Vibhuti has appeared, Kumkum has appeared. Yes, they are also miracles. But what is even more powerful, beyond and over all of that, is when a transformation takes place in a being, where a person is stuck in some way and breaking through from that kind of a pattern or incompletion. And actually, just like how when a butterfly lava, it actually a caterpillar becomes a cocoon. And at the time when the cocoon has to break, it has to tear open and come out. It cannot be soft sitting inside, telling the oh, let it rupture and then I'll come out. No, that cannot be it. But that force that it uses to come out, even though it might be initially difficult, but the real miracle is that the caterpillar breaks free and becomes a butterfly. That's the same thing in each and every one of our life. When we actually experience a transformation from all our limitations, that's a real miracle that every one of us experience in our life. And very, very powerfully and very beautifully, how we can experience this in our life, especially through the blessings of Devi Parashakti. At this moment in time, for the entire world, we are all suffering with the COVID pandemic. As we have all been seeing, it is affecting the world at multiple layers, mentally, physically, psychologically, in so many different ways and levels, the COVID is affecting. But Swamiji is constantly holding every one of us, literally like a bubble where the COVID cannot enter in at all, and continuously protecting us in all levels, physical, psychological, mental, in every level. Swamiji is continuously hand holding us. And one thing, as you shared, the most important thing that we can actually take away from what you're sharing is that having that openness, dropping the expectations, and trying to force the answers that we want to have, rather letting Devi Parashakti herself answer the questions. And that is when you'll understand that, hey, whatever she's answering to my being. She's answering so that I break out of the cocoon that I've built and express and experience life around. As soon as she blesses, it is like she has given you the power to do it. All that we have to do next is just take the step and action towards it. And you will see that it is only the fear that is holding you back. Yes, from the time you were a caterpillar, get into a womb, it was a difficult time. It was a bit scary from seeing life outside, colorful life everywhere, being able to move around any plant that you want, to actually get yourself into a womb and completely close yourself from the society, get yourself off the entire grid, and actually trusting the master that that is something going to be more powerful is a step, but that is not it. When you have to take the step to move beyond, that is when Devi Parashakti blesses. Every one of us in our life have experienced this transformation in our life, where we have surely broken out of various different conditionings, patterns that we have, that the society has imposed on us. But that is not it. The cosmic mother, Devi Parashakti, always as she's working towards the ultimate experience that we can have, when she is nudging, especially when it is a ferocious answer that Devi Parashakti is giving, it is just so that you take the decision to break free from only the mental restrictions that is holding you back. After that, all that you really have to do is to take that courage that, yes, all this while I have seen a beautiful transformation that has happened in me. And now it is only my fear that is holding me back. We are still scared. What if the cocoon breaks and I fall down? But you need to understand that you're not going to fall, you're going to fly. And that is what Devi Parashakti has blessed with. And when the caterpillar is having a little difficulty understanding that, that is when she uses the ferociousness and gives a nudge telling that, move, it is time for you to fly. And we all experience it. So as you beautifully shared, Trida, I'm sure that that is that push that Devi Parashakti is giving you. Every time when we receive a ferocious answer, it is so that we, whatever the incompletions, fears, or whatever that is stopping us, just by her look, she burns it away. And all that you have to do is just hold on to her feet and enter into the field. And you will see that you take off. And I'm sure that this sharing that you shared with every one of us helps every one of the participants who are viewing and yourself as well. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with all our viewers across?
Yeah, the power of Darshan. As you were speaking before, I remembered maybe one of my favorite experiences with Swamiji when I was living in the Adi Kailasha, in the Adinam, and it was during a program, and we were about to do a yoga session with Swamiji on stage, and this was all the participants were in the main hall, sitting down, waiting for Swamiji to come. Curtain closed. I was behind the curtain, and we were waiting for Swamiji to come, and he entered in. Again, curtain closed. So this was just me and a couple other people are there with him, and he was about to sit down on his simhasana, and he was standing there, and then he just took a quick look over at me with this like just radiating such bliss. And he looked over at me, and as soon as he made eye contact, it was just like this euphoric kundalini shot up, and I was just overwhelmed, like sitting there like this, like I couldn't control myself. I was laughing so much, and he was 30 feet away from me or something like that, and he just turned and looked at me. And in that moment when he looked, it was like a darshan that I have never experienced. And I've had, you know, like countless physical darshans from him where he's touching or hugging me. But the look in that moment that he gave me was so powerful, so strong. And he still has that ability for anybody in the entire world. He just needs to see you. He just needs to look at you. So if you, another thing I would say is if you ever have an opportunity to be in a two-way session with him during these Akashic readings, which I know that they're open up to Kailasa citizens, sign up, get your passport, be on two-way, and have his darshan by him looking at you. It is so incredible, especially if you never experienced. That's where it all begins. Is just having his eyes fall on you is such a blessing. It's only something that you can experience. Like I could talk about it all day, but I can't express enough how great it is to have that opportunity. So I would say maybe that would be my final thing to share.